What's up guys? Thanks for tuning in. So I picked up Mafia 3 last weekend, and I've been playing the game over the past week, and I gotta say, I've been really enjoying it. Tons of fun, and I wanted to give my thoughts on it, and talk to you guys about it. You know, at first glance, Mafia 3 comes off as another GTA clone. You know, it's a game about a criminal in an open world, starts with nothing, but slowly climbs the corrupt ladder to become the ultimate criminal badass. Sounds kinda familiar, right? That being said, the more I played this game, the more I realized this game is actually really different from something like GTA. And this game is more story-based than the other games you'd see. And the whole story is told like some kind of Netflix documentary. You have various interviews with people that Lincoln met in his life, recounting various events throughout the game. It's just kinda cool, you know? And I can't really think of a game that's done something like that before. Also, since the game is more story-focused, it seems to be less, goofing off. There aren't a lot of mini-games or little events where you're jumping off of cliffs. It's a real gripping drama about a character trying to claw his way to the top, and stopping at nothing to do so. There's also a somewhat realistic take on racism in the 1960s as well. Speaking of that, this game is set in the settings of 1960s New Orleans, or the fictional version of it in this game, New Bordeaux. Now, seeing as how I'm not really a time traveler or a historian, I don't really know exactly what it was like living in that time period, but from what I can tell, it seems pretty accurate. The main character of this game, Lincoln Clay, is black living in that time period, and the game is making a deliberate statement about that. As you drive or walk on the street, police officers will eyeball you when you pass them, and even some stores will say no colors allowed, and they'll make a big deal if you walk into them. Like it's actually part of the story mechanics and how the game works. Hell, even the opening screen of the game has a quote from the developers acknowledging this, specifically acknowledge the racism of that time period, and make a statement about it and say, hey, this is what it was like. We're not going to avoid it, we're going to put it in the game. I think honestly, with everything that's been going on today in America, and all the social issues we've been having, it just feels very timely that this stuff is coming out at the same time. It feels like a statement on not just the time period back then, but also a statement on today's, and it kind of feels like a response to it. But all that story stuff aside, this is a video game, not a movie, and the gameplay is king. Nothing about this game feels, truly new or inventive, but the gameplay on display here is pretty solid. This isn't really your typical run and gun, army of one, unbeatable soldier type game. This game is very stealth based. It relies heavily on sneaking around and picking enemies off one by one. The main character will die in a couple hits, and honestly, you aren't really prepared to take on a bunch of enemies by yourself. Now, I've never played the other Mafia games, so I don't know how this compares with those. So I didn't expect stealth to be in this game, so I was personally surprised by that. I think this, more than anything else, really makes the game feel different from those other GTA type games. The mechanics aren't as tight or as solid as, say, like Metal Gear Solid 5 and the gameplay in that game, but again, the mechanics feel good. I never feel cheated or gimped. If I die, it feels like player error. It feels like something that I did. And the game really forces me to get better at playing it. Now, like most open world games, there is the typical formula of completing a checklist of objectives and just going from point to point on the map, which usually can get kind of mundane. But I don't know, this game just seems fun. It's just fun to play, and really that's what matters. Once the game stops being fun, that's when problems start happening. Now, at the time of this recording, I haven't beat the game yet, so who knows, the game might become more boring as it goes on. But right now, I'm just having a blast playing it, and I'm just enjoying the ride. Once I'm finished though, I might go back and make a final impressions video, just kind of going over my thoughts to the overall game after I've beaten it, its ending, stuff like that. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments down below. I might actually make that video. But alright guys, those are my thoughts on Mafia 3, my first impressions of the game. If you're playing the game, what do you guys think of it so far? If you guys have played the first Mafia games, Mafia 1 and 2, I'm actually really curious to hear in the comments, does this game compare to those games? Is this game as good as those? Is it a good entry in the series? And also too, I haven't beaten the game yet, so please, no spoilers. I don't want to get spoiled with this game. I actually really am enjoying the story, so hopefully I can play this game spoiler free. So go ahead, like and subscribe, all that typical YouTube stuff. Helps me out a ton. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, stay tuned.
Christ, that guy's an asshole. Fucking carpetbagger.